Wax's podcast, talking mad shit about uninteresting facts. Wax's podcast, listen to it every Wednesday.
Yo, what up? This is Wax with another episode of Wax's podcast. I know that some of you guys thought I wouldn't make it to episode 3, but let me tell you something. I'm making it to episode 3003. I'm gonna fucking do this every week for the rest of my life. I that's probably not true, but I'm gonna do this shit for a long time. And barring any kind of medical situation, or if I someday have kids and my kid's being born, or if a kid has a medical situation, any death in the family, whatever, barring anything crazy like that, I'm gonna keep these podcasts coming to you every week. Because like I said last week, it's not that difficult for me to do. It's only me. I only rely on myself for this shit. And, I just write a couple things down and then blab. So this one I'm not really that prepared for, but I got a couple things I want to talk about. First things first, my manager, Brian Washington, actually listened to last week's podcast, and he had a correction for me. The meeting I was talking about did not take place at the Beverly Hills Hilton. It took place at the Beverly Hills Hotel. And he probably told me to tell you that because he wants to make sure that y'all know that he's balling. I think that hotel is slightly more upper class and high scale than the Beverly Hills Hilton. I could be wrong about that. But that being said, I'm here at my new place. I got a new apartment in Venice, California. And for anybody that lives by the beach, I don't know if it's just me. I know it's not just me. That's why it's more expensive to live by the beach. But it's fucking great. I got a balcony. I step outside onto the balcony in the morning and I just feel the fresh ocean breeze. You can just if you wouldn't have to know where you're at. You just know that you're by the ocean and it feels great. Just good for your positive, whatever makes your brain feel positive and your emotions positive. It's just good to be here. And I know I said last week that I was going to move here with a moving company, but I did not. Me and E and my boy Frank, with a little assistance from my boy Tony and a little assistance from my boy AK. We moved this shit. We moved all my shit, which is not that much shit. It's just one big-ass U-Haul truck full of shit. And here I am, and it's great. Had a little barbecue, a little housewarming / birthday party for a friend of mine, my friend Alice. Happy birthday, if you're listening to this. Had that shit yesterday, a little Labor Day cookout. My boy Jay came over. He brought, Jay's very Korean and proud. I'm not saying he's very Korean, but he's Korean, and he's very proud of being Korean. He brought this dope-ass short ribs over, these Korean spiced short ribs, and cooked like a pound of that shit. And it was great, man. Fucking chicken, just a bunch of beer, just really taking Labor Day for what it is, not working and just relaxing and celebrating. And we really took that to heart. The whole Intense Imagination crew was great, man, but Gotta watch out for that shit now, especially. And I think now that I'm living by the beach, I'm trying to fucking get in shape. You know what I mean? This is something that I'm not good at. I've never been like a workout person in my life, But I think starting today, I ate kind of healthy today, and I'm gonna try to do some kind of exercise. I don't know exactly what I'm gonna do, which is probably a bad thing if I want to motivate myself to exercise. I've never really been that big or on exercising or good at, like when I was younger, like I would skateboard and fucking play basketball and shit for fun. But now that I'm just I guess kind of career focused, and just like when I'm not making music, I like to kind of just sit on my ass like a fat ass American or whatever that I am. Earlier this year, actually in January, I joined a gym, and like many people, it was in January, and I was turning over a new leaf, as I kind of do every morning. Every morning I'm just like turning over some new leaf. Either I'm never going to drink again, I'm never going to smoke again, I'm going to start eating healthy. I'm always turning over some kind of new leaf. And, January is the most common time to do that. So I went up to LA Fitness in Hollywood, where I used to live, and I bought a gym membership, and I went I went 3 days in a row in like the first weekend of January, and I think since then I went like twice. And they really get you with gyms because they know, like, there's this thing in your mind that makes you not want to cancel the membership, because canceling the gym membership is just like giving up on getting back in shape. Or I mean, let's not even say back here. Let's say in shape for the first time. But they know that it's going to be hard for you to give that up, because it's just like, it's basically like just driving up to the McDonald's and ordering the Big Macs or whatever that you told yourself you weren't going to eat. I don't know. I'm not saying that I've never been like a fat person or whatever, but, you know, I drink a lot of beer, and I think it's starting to catch up. I'm just getting a little flabby, you know what I'm saying? I smoke cigarettes too, so, like, even when we were moving all those couches and shit, like, you know, I got pretty winded. But, yeah, I just can't really fuck with gyms, man. I don't really like going to the gym. I do kind of like the section of the gym with the treadmills. It's like fucking 30 treadmills next to each other, and you go on there and you're in this like stationary marathon, you know? Like you're all standing still, but there's a sense of competition, you know? But it's like friendly competition because you're feeling good for a second. You look next to yourself to the right, and you see like a lady who's even worse off than you that probably just joined the gym. And, you know, her stats are right there on the screen. You know, she's been going for about 0.2 miles, you know, on the thing for half an hour, you know, whatever. And you're like, okay, I'm doing good in this race. But then you look to your left, you know, and there's this, like, fucking Kenyan dude who's been sprinting for the last 45 minutes, and he's not even winded at all. He's just, like, checking his email and shit on his iPhone while he's doing this shit. But I think the reason that I don't mind that is because, you know, it doesn't matter that he's been running for 45 minutes and I've only been running for 5. Like, you know, we're still tied. You know, if there was a finish line right there in front of us, it'd still be a photo finish. I don't even know if they do that with people. I think that's just a horse thing. They do photo finishes with, yeah, they do in the Olympics and shit. But yeah, I don't mind that about gyms, but like, just shit there irks me, man. I think some dudes that go to the gym too much, they might need to realize like, there's like this line of muscliness where like you cross from like dude that has a lot of muscles that chicks probably find attractive to dudes that look really fucking weird and muscly, like the dudes you see on the muscle magazines when you're at 7-Eleven, like the dudes who just like their head, it just looks like it's, even if it's not photoshopped, it just looks like it because it doesn't look like a human head would even be on that body. There's just fucking veins everywhere, and it's just like the fucking shit's not even fucking, your body's not even symmetrical. Like your left bicep is fucking 400 pounds and your right is 350. I don't know obviously it wouldn't be that much, but maybe in some cases these dudes are fucking huge. And I think that some people just need to realize like, yo, you're getting to the point where working out for you is actually unhealthy. Like, how can your blood even handle that pressure? I mean, look at your veins right now. I don't know, man. Just people take it too far. You can see, you know, your organs start to develop muscles. Like you can actually see your pancreas sticking out the side. Your fucking calves are all big. You know, you're fucking if your calves have a 6-pack, then I think that's the line where it's just too much definition. You know, I think that's what it is. I mean, people, I don't know. I remember back in the day they had this show on MTV where it was like they showed people getting plastic surgery. And there was this one dude who had on there that was obsessed with his calves, and I never understood that. Like, he got calf implants, and I've never understood calf implants. I mean, how would anybody understand that? It's like, I don't know. Like, how bad are you worried about the way your calf looks? I mean, first of all, take it the worst way. Some people can't even fucking walk. I mean, if you want to take it that route, like, some people can't even use their fucking calves, and you're sitting here worried about it looking all perfect and shit. Do some more. Whatever you do to jump with ankle weights on. Do some more shit like that to work them out to the best they can get. I mean, you know, getting an implant, that just sounds sketchy, man. You know, you fucking slice open the top of it, I guess, and then stuff essentially a soccer shin guard in there and sew it back up. I mean, Jesus Christ. I don't know. I don't get it. I'm just going off on the gym. That's a side thing. I don't know why the fuck I'm talking about that, but I did write down. You know what happened this week? Last week on the show, I did a whole thing about on the show. I guess it's a show. I don't know. Last week on the podcast, I did a whole thing about masturbating. And, you know, not just about, like, masturbating on some funny shit, but masturbating on some real shit. I was talking about how masturbating is the most honest point in a man's life. You know, nobody's there around to judge him. And whatever he really wants to masturbate to is what he masturbates to. Sometimes he's probably, you know, in certain cases, these fucking sociopath people are probably ashamed of themselves, you know, for the instincts that they just randomly have. But after that, I was like, God, in the podcast, I was like, I hope my mom doesn't listen to this. So 2 days later, I check the old inbox, and I get an email from my mom, and she is indeed listening to my podcast, which, first of all, fucking amazes me that she even knows how to download a podcast. That's amazing to me. Something with my mom in the past year, she's become like mad savvy. She knows how to use Twitter and Facebook and Instagram and all this shit, and it's like, I'm like, 2 years ago, I don't even think she knew how to, like, if I told her to double click on something, she probably wouldn't know to click twice in a rapid manner. But in her email, she said, "I found your segment about masturbating enlightening." So for anybody out there who thinks I don't have a fucking interesting and unique life, tell me, has your mom ever said to you, "I found what you said about masturbating enlightening"? Because I don't think that happens often. And it happened to me, and I'm fucking here to tell about it, and I just told you about it. And that's about it on that topic. What else do I got going on? I'm sitting here. I got my studio set up at the crib. I used to have a separate studio in North Hollywood, but I wanted to be by the beach, so I just got a place that was big enough to hold all my shit, and I'm just here working diligently to finish my album, which is about, I'm not exactly sure percentage-wise how much it's done, but the next month to month and a half, I'm going to be focused solely on that. I'm still going to do the podcast. We're bringing back Wax Weekly. I should have an episode ready for that either Thursday or Friday. I know I said that last week, but we did shoot it. And then it's long story short, we're going to have it to you this Thursday or Friday, I promise. And I'm going to be doing the podcast and Wax Weekly, maybe shooting a video here or there. But besides that, I'm not doing any shows. I'm not taking any trips. Actually, that's not true. I think I am taking one trip. I think I'm taking a trip for my nephew's birthday. But besides that, I'm going to be here at the crib on lockdown, writing and recording for this album. I'm really excited about this album. I finally got a title for the album. I guess I should do some kind of fucking, grandiose announcement or something like that for the album title. I'm just going to tell the podcast listeners the album is going to be called Continue. And for you out there that are saying, what the fuck does that mean? It means in life at all times you have two options. You either fucking kill yourself or you continue. If bad things are going to happen to you, girls are going to break up with you, people are going to break your heart, you're going to lose people, people are going to die, you're going to lose record deals, and you really, the longer you live, the more you realize that it's all just part of life, the highs, the lows, everything, and you really just keep walking. And even when you get to the destination that you think you were looking for, a lot of times it's just you think you get to the top of the mountain, but you reach that peak and it's really just a plateau that has another mountain on it, Or like when the fucking Christopher Columbus and them were, sailing the ocean blue, they didn't even know if they might fall off the end of the earth. Like there's some waterfall at the end of the earth they could maybe fall off of, but they just kept going, Just persistence, man. I think that's kind of what my life represents, is you just keep doing this shit, Like if you're meant to do something, you'll do it, If you're meant to do construction, you'll do construction. I got a homie that's real into landscaping, and that's what he does, and he loves it. And for me, I'm real into music, and no matter what happens to me, even if I lose all the money, got to get a real job, blah blah blah, I'm still gonna be doing it. And that's, you just continue. Like what else can you do? I'll have a song on the album that explains it better, but my manager would probably be mad if I was giving away the album title now. He probably should have some kind of clever way of announcing it or marketing it. But you listen to the podcast, you get little tidbits. You know what I'm saying? Matter of fact, what other tidbit can I drop on? I'll drop tidbits on y'all later. I'm not gonna sit here and tell you that I'm a dude that has a lot of knowledge that you should listen to. But I guess that's a choice for you to make. Anyway, what else do I got written down on here? This is kind of a stupid one, but sometimes in life, I realized this while I was moving. Sometimes it's hard to not be an asshole. Like you might be presented with a situation where any option that you have kind of makes you an asshole. What made me think of this is there's been several times where a fan of mine is an artist, not a musician, like an artist that draws or paints. and either at a show or even in the mail, like it's makes me more of an asshole when it's at a show, because they'll give me this picture of me. They'll draw a picture of me, and it's like, it's awesome. I appreciate it so much, and I really do. But it's like, in the back of my head, when I get home, I feel like kind of a dick, because like, what am I gonna do with a picture of myself? You know what I mean? Like, I have all these pictures of myself that just kind of sit there and collect dust. And when I look at them, I feel like a dick, because these people put this work in drawing these pictures. But I don't know what, it'd be a dick of me to tell people not to do it, because if they want to do it, I don't even know what this means. The point is, I have these pictures of myself, and I don't know what to do with them. Like, am I gonna hang up these pictures in my in my room? Am I gonna have a bunch of pictures of myself? Like, how narcissistic would that be? Like, I don't know. Some of them are like big and clearly took a while, but I don't know. It's almost like if you had it's like that person should have kept it. I want to tell that person to keep the picture themselves. I want to tell them. That's what I'm saying. Like, I either have the option to be the asshole that doesn't do anything with the picture, or be the asshole that says like, no, just keep the picture. But in reality, it would actually be better for that person to keep the picture, because it just collects dust. I mean, I look at it when I move and I'm touched, but I'm not going to hang up a bunch of pictures of myself in my house. That'd be just weird, right? Like I was some kind of king of England or something like that. Commission people to paint paintings of me, and if they do bad, they get beheaded. Maybe I will start doing that. I guess I couldn't do that. That'd be illegal, but yeah, I wish I was a little bit more prepared for this. I do have a little bit of a movie review. It's going to be really brief, but relatively recently, not that recently, I was with a lady friend of mine, and we watched a movie. I hardly ever watch movies, so I'm not going to do some kind of wax movie review section, especially, you won't even want me to after you hear how terrible this review is, but the movie was Lost in Translation. And I don't know if you guys have seen that or not, but for me to do a movie review of that would be impossible, because like nothing happened in the movie. Like Bill Murray and Scarlett Johansson like meet each other, and then they like, I guess they like fall in love, and they go out to places and eat food and kind of go on dates and just talk about stuff. But nothing happens in the movie. Like if you were to describe the movie, that what I just said would be the entire plot. And I don't know. I think that's what it is with like movies that were made for chicks. Like dudes like movies and shit, and dudes like a story that moves, and like then somebody dies, and then fucking there's a twist, and then something happens. Where girls are like more emotion driven. Like it's just like whatever that comedian was that said, when you ask a girl how she's doing, like a dude just be fine, but a girl would have to like preface that with all the stuff that happened to her recently to let you know like what emotional state she's in at the time. But yeah, that movie nothing happened, man. So I don't recommend Lost in Translation to anybody. So that's my movie review. 2 thumbs down for Lost in Translation. Sorry about that. I think we're going to move on to the segment which I introduced last week. Hopefully this time it won't be as much of a fail. The segment I introduced last week was call people and fuck with them. So I'm going to try to call my brother and fuck with him a little bit. Let's see if I can get this to work. Let's put on speaker.
Hello?
Yo, what's up, man?
What's going on, man?
Hey, what are you doing right now?
I'm actually working on some music, man. What's that?
I got kind of a situation, man. It's kind of an emergency.
What's up?
Where are you? I think I might have left something at your house. If you go,
Okay.
I think I might have left it in your room. Can you go in your room?
Are you being serious?
Yeah.
You left something in my room. Alright, I'm walking into my room.
Well, if you look in your closet, I think
In my closet?
I think I left some clean underwear there because I just shit myself. Stupid.
You're a fucking dick. I knew it was a prank. I knew knew it from the start.
It could have been a better prank. It wasn't the funniest prank, but yeah, I'm doing my podcast right now. What's up with you?
Shit, man. I'm just working on some shit. I
What-
knew it was a fucking prank. It's when I saw your name come up on my phone, I was like, this motherfucker's fucking with me.
What are you working
It
on?
doesn't work.
Sorry to interrupt you. What are you working on? The people want to know.
I'm working on a new Herbal Tea song for the Herbal Tea album.
When's that come out?
You already know.
So what does that mean? I don't already know.
You already know, man.
What do you guys out there think about, like, rappers and shit saying you already know all the time? Like, don't you want to be like, no, I don't. You haven't told me yet.
You already know what I think about it.
It's like back in the day when
No,
they'd be.
man, I got a good track going right here. It sounds really, really good and hip, and the kids are gonna just, they're gonna love it.
So how would you describe the music you're working on for your album?
I guess they're all, I mean, it's like funk, man. Funk, hip-hop. Straight up. Funky break beats.
Folk and hip hop.
Yeah, folk.
So you're making the folk
Or like-
hip hop.
Like Pete Seeger and Arlo Guthrie sitting down and rapping.
Nice Arlo Guthrie reference.
Peter, Paul, and Mary.
I'm
Peter,
sure.
Paul, and Mary.
I'm sure all the youngsters out there are gonna love the Arlo Guthrie reference.
Yeah, it's gonna be like Crosby, Stills, Nash, and Young MC. Oh,
Oh, Crosby, Stills, Nash, and Young MC.
yep. It's gonna be
Bob Dylan.
it's gonna be let's see.
What-
Let's try to think of something else clever. Can't really come up with anything.
I can't think of anything either. I was gonna say Joan Baez, but like Joan Baez, but that's not that fun.
Yeah.
Who's another folk singer? Who's a
It's gonna be like what's that guy? What's that fucking guy at Woodstock? It's gonna be like Country Fat Joe and the Fish. It's gonna be like who's the other folk? Who's another big fucking
Simon and
folk star?
Garfunky Fresh.
Ryman and Garfunkel.
Ryman and Garfunkel. I can't think.
Ryman and Garfunkel.
Ryman and Garfunk Master Flex. Oh, you know what this
Yeah.
makes me think of, Chris, of the shit we were saying that one day where we were gonna do the M mixtape. What was it like?
Oh, yeah.
Yo,
Yeah, no,
the massive mixtape mixed by Mixmaster Mike featuring Marshall Mathers, Mac Miller, Mac Main. Who were the other M names?
It's got Meek Mills, Macklemore, Marshall Mathers, Mac Main, Mike Myers,
Oh, mixed by Mixmaster Mike.
mixed by Mixmaster Mike, mixed and mastered by Mixmaster Mike.
That's so stupid.
Oh man, it's all M's, and it's not just starting with M. It's got to be two words to start with M. It's gotta
Exactly.
be Mac Miller, Mac Main, Meek Mills, Marshall Mathers.
There's way more that
Macklemore.
way more that we had too.
Yeah.
There's a rapper,
yeah, we
Mike
had a few
Myers.
of them. Is it like Money Mark or Money Mike or something?
Money Mike.
No, you know who Moneymaker Mike is?
Yeah,
Krispy
yeah.
Kreme?
Krispy
His
Kreme's
boy,
homie.
Moneymaker Mike.
Yo,
Mike, my friend Mike.
EOM hates Krispy Kreme. You know that?
You hate Krispy Kreme?
EOM does.
Why would you hate Krispy Kreme?
I don't know, but he does, dude. He's always like, "Fuck Krispy Kreme." I'm gonna bring him on here later. I'll ask him about it.
That's
As a matter of fact, hey.
if you-
I don't know if he can hear me. He's in the next room. He's got his headphones on though.
right. I don't. Maybe if he thinks it's like some kind of like making a mockery of rap or something. Maybe that's what it is.
Maybe.
I'm not even really sure if that dude is like. I imagine that he's not serious, but I'm not really sure. Like You know what I'm saying?
No, I think it's been confirmed that he is not actually like that. I think that's been confirmed.
Right. See, I think that's genius. His persona that he created is genius.
Well, you seen the video where he's like, he starts crying and shit, where he's just talking to the thing? You gotta believe in your dreams. You hold on to that dream. It's like 5 minutes of just him practically like crying about believing in your dreams. You should check that out. Everybody out there should check that out. It's pretty funny.
I've seen the one where he was like in a fight with the I just remember the Arch Enemy guys were wearing these funny like outfits, and one of them's name was James. I don't know if you've seen that one where him and Mike on the fight.
Yo, so while I got you on here, you know, a lot of times when you call me and leave me voicemails, you do funny voices. You do certain impressions and shit like that. Like maybe you could give the people an impression or something like that. What are some of the voices you do?
And I don't fucking know, man. Now you're gonna put me on the spot. I gotta be in
I don't want it to seem like,
you know what I mean? I gotta be in the zone.
I don't want it to seem like you're dissing people.
I leave, you know, different characters. You know, it might be, I like the comedy club ones. I like pretending to be the comedy club owner and fucking with you like you're, you know, trying to book you at a comedy show. You know, it might be like, you know, Vinny Del Franco from the Yup Yup Shack in Canton, New Jersey. You know, we had an open to cancel for Tuesday night, but we got an early show and we got the 4 p.m. opening slot. We can't really tell you too much over there, but you know, maybe you come over here, you know, get a few yups, a couple of lamps.
Will you be open if we got a fucking we got a magician guy, you know, he makes like he does card tricks and you know, he does a lot of card tricks. He makes quarters disappear behind the little kids' ears, you know, and we had a juggling act drop out before him, so we think you could do, you know, a little 5-minute set, maybe about 2:30 p.m. down here at the Yuck Yuck, down here at the Cackle Lounge.
Yeah, we had an animal act come in here. It was sort of like a ventriloquist, but he has like a little tiny chimp, and you know, we canceled on it. And usually does like 5 to 7 minutes on Tuesdays. You know, we figured it'd be right up the alley. It wasn't too much trouble. So, you know, call me back. No,
excuse me.
I do that, but it's really funny in my messages.
No, I know what you mean. It's hard when you're this podcast shit is actually harder than people might think. I actually kind of like this week I wasn't as ready, I think, as last week. I don't have quite as many stories and material to talk about, you know what I mean? So it's hard. Like once you hit record and sit in front of the microphone, it's actually like, you know, it's pretty difficult, man, but it's fun. And I think it's one of those things, you know, just like playing an instrument where you get better and better at it, you know what I mean, over time. Even though it could be argued that last week's podcast would probably be better than this one. But, you know, you just got to go to episode. You never know how it's going to go, and you never know how the next episode is going to go, you know?
Yeah. Maybe I'll leave you some messages, and maybe there's somebody who can play on the podcast if I leave any funny ones.
That's true. You left me.
Sometimes I get good ones where I pretend I'm other rappers that I want you to do a feature or whatever.
Right,
you know?
Right. I don't want it to be construed that we're dissing people, but it is pretty funny. Chris does a pretty funny Yellow Wolf impression, a Petey Pablo impression. You did Jadakiss today. You did Jadakiss today.
I did Jada wasn't that funny, but I just like his voice was like, you know, Jada from New York. You know, he's just like gritty, like New York voice. You know, getting the locks back together down here in New York. I got Sheik DeLuise with me right now. Styles is on the phone too. We need a fourth member wax you down.
Stupid.
Yeah. The yellow wolf one I haven't done in a while. That one was pretty funny though. It would probably be misconstrued as a yellow wolf diss, but it's totally not a yellow wolf diss. It's just a funny, like, it's like a caricature.
Right. It's like when Weird Al Yankovic always does that shit. It's not a diss, you know. It's actually an honor. Not saying that you're Weird Al Yankovic and it's in any way, shape, or form an honor for you to be impersonating somebody. But
right. No. My impressions. I never intended to be an impersonist, nor do I ever like sit. Because people who do impressions, they actually sit there in front of a mirror and like, you know, look at the facial expressions of the people and like try to mimic them and like really practice it. Like me, it's just like, doing some bullshit, you know, where I'm just leaving your letters. But
Right.
the Yellow Wolf one was basically based on, I watched the day that I first left you a message at Yellow Wolf, I had watched a couple of his videos, and I actually think he's tight. But for some reason I was like, man, a lot of his songs, you know, he's like, basically, like, he always does, like, the, you know, double time bounce beats, and he fucking says, my caricature was based on him saying the word, like, 5 different words in a similar rhythm, and I think the words were like Alabama, motherfucker, Chevy, and see, because remember, that was a fucking diss to him, because I'm gonna say the other part was where you had told me a story about someone told you that Yellow Wolf sounded like he just said yabba dabba doo all the time, like they couldn't understand him. It was like it sounded like he just started rapping like he's going yabba dabba doo, yabba dabba doo, dabba doo. So I basically, my caricature was just like, motherfucker, yabba dabba doo, when you Chevy, motherfucker, Alabama, yabba dabba doo. And like that,
Right.
over and over again.
Right. That is going to be misconstrued as a diss by people, but, you know, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
If I met Yellow Wolf in person, I'm sure we would get along nicely. He likes to drink too.
It's good, baby. It's good, baby. It's Yellow Wolf down here in Alabama. We down here in Alabama drinking blood watching NASCAR at the racetrack. You know, I got this new track. I wanted to show you. Yabba dabba, motherfucker, Alabama, Chevy, motherfucker, yabba dabba doo, yabba dabba doo, motherfucker, in Alabama, Chevy, yabba dabba doo. You know, that was basically. That was basically the gist of it. Not that, you know, not that funny, but fucking, sometimes I make myself laugh just leaving messages. I do that to a lot of people. Just fucking, I don't ever leave a serious message.
Well, it's speaking of segues, speaking of serious messages, what else is new with your family life? I know you got another kid on the way. You got Max already. Now you got number 2. You got a name for him yet?
Oh, you're going to make me put my son's name on blast on your podcast?
No. Never mind. That's true. That's a family
cool.
thing.
Actually, we have a couple options, but I'm not gonna spill any beans.
How is to all the people, myself included, you know? Because I was actually telling a story earlier about, I don't even know if I told you this story, but you know, last week on the podcast I was talking about masturbating and shit, and then I said something about like I hope my mom doesn't hear this, and then a couple of days ago mom sent me an email that she did hear it, and she said she said in the email that she found the part about masturbating enlightening. So I was saying it.
Oh, that is the weirdest fucking shit ever.
So,
Oh my god.
Well, the only point, I don't know what my original point of telling you that story was, but I was gonna say something about like to all of us out here without kids, like, you know, how what's it like? What's parenthood like? I mean, how has that changed your life, and how, you know, how has that affected your music? How has that affected your personal life? Everything.
And that is a very deep and complex question. You could write a book, and in fact, many books I'm sure have been written on that subject. But you know, it's you gotta, just like the cliche, man. You're not living for yourself anymore. You gotta live. You know, everything I do is so that you can, you know, have a good life, and you have to be completely non-selfish. Which for me, for music and stuff, it makes it so. Actually, it kind of keeps it fun in a way. I mean, I do it, and it's like a job in that I can make money off it. You know what I mean? But it's like, you know, right now he's asleep, and I'm doing it, and it's just kind of like I can do whatever the fuck I want because I'm not really worried about, you know, who's gonna like it or whatever. I'm just doing whatever I want. You know what I mean?
Right.
So.
Did you hear Nas's new song? Well, relatively new song, Daughters.
I actually have not heard it, man. I have not heard it, but I've heard about it.
You should check it out. It's sick. But I just think I think it's cool.
Yeah.
I think it's cool when people like Jay-Z was really good at this. Like, you know, as he grew older, like he didn't fucking try to be young and hip and shit. Like he just got old gracefully, and his audience grew with him. You know, like he always says, like he lost the jersey and got into the suit and shit. And like if you listen to some of Nas's new shit, like he's got that song about his daughter. He's got this song about getting divorced. He's got this crazy song about trust. It's like some adult ass shit. It's just cool to hear people especially with like some
Right.
shit like back in the day was rap was considered this new shit, and there wasn't really old people rapping because rap hadn't been around that long, you know. So to me, that shit is
Dude,
cool.
it's like, you know what's funny is it's the same thing, because I remember, you know, people used to say, like, well, no one is going to want to see these people when they get old. They're not going to want to see them go and do shows and rap when they're all old. But it, like, I forget it, the exact quote, but Mick Jagger famously said when he was, like, in his, like, when he was in his 20s, he's like, if I'm still playing Satisfaction when I'm 50, you can just kill me, you know?
Oh, really?
And so, yeah, but little did he know, he'd be playing it when he's fucking whatever the fuck old he is.
He's like 97.
Yeah.
I think he's a cyborg.
right.
I think he's some type of cyborg or something. A lot of those old musicians and actors who just like still look young or like that. I think they just had so much, like 50%
Dude,
metal.
Like Steven Tyler, man. Steven Tyler is an example. He's like fucking just not even a human. I mean, he's just like Steven Tyler. You know what I'm saying? He's a fucking character that's been
Right, and all these dudes have like fucking snorted fucking a ridiculous amount of cocaine, shot heroin a shitload of times, cigarettes, alcohol, fucking unprotected sex, all that shit, and they're still fucking ticking, you know?
Yeah. Dude, like Steven Tyler, like, you know, he was clean, I guess, but then even it was just a couple of years ago, the fuck old he is. I mean, I guess he's in his 60s at least. I don't even know. But he, like, you know, relapsed or whatever and was back into drugs. I don't even know when they get back into drugs, if it's fucking cocaine or heroin or what the fuck he does. But if you get to dealing with none of that shit would be, you know what I mean?
Right, right. I mean, you know, you get addicted to something, you're addicted forever, you know? I remember a certain how can I put this? A certain friend of ours had a girlfriend whose father was clean for like basically that girl's whole life. And, you know, for like 20 or 30 years he was clean, and then all of a sudden, I guess his kids moved out and he just fucking started raging again. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about, but it doesn't matter if you don't. It just goes to show you can quit for a long time, but like once you start back up, just can't have just one, you know?
Mm-hmm.
If Steven Tyler, like if you met Steven Tyler at a party and he was like, "Yo, I got some heroin, you want to do some?" Would you do something just to say you did heroin with Steven Tyler? Or is that not even the right kind of person?
No.
I wouldn't either.
I remember the question you asked me about the fatherhood thing. That would definitely be that's something that I would factor into that decision.
Whereas people, right, and people who are only responsible for themselves, like people like me, you know, I don't have a girl or a kid or anything like that. The only person I'm responsible for is me. Like, maybe you know, I wouldn't do heroin with Steven Tyler. I wouldn't do heroin, period. You know, but like in a situation like that, maybe something less crazy.
No,
I'd be more down to do it, because like if I died, you know, people just collect my shit, you know.
Right. And it's kind of like, well, if you die, it's like, well, he died because he was partying all the way with Steven Tyler.
Right,
you know,
right.
It's kind of like, well, it's gonna go. That's the way to go.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
When you're a parent, you have your own mortality. You look at it a lot differently. Like, you don't do as much. Not that you can't do crazy shit, but even simple shit. Like I go surfing, right? And like, I don't fucking if the waves are fucking enormous and it's crazy, and like I'm like, you know what? I might actually die today. Like, you know, previously I would have been like, fuck you, man, shreds. But you know, now I'm just a little more hesitant about doing shit that's going to endanger my life. You know what I mean?
Right, because your life is actually now the life of your wife and your kid, and if you die, you're leaving your wife with the responsibility and with a lot of work, and your kid is not going to have you as, you know what I'm saying. I mean, obviously you do. You're the one who said it.
Yeah. At any rate, I don't know how good this material is for your podcast, Mike.
No, I think it's good, man. I think it's good. I think people will find it interesting. At least I do, because
remember how I told you you asked me for feedback on your podcast, the first one, and I was like, well, you know what? You don't need to question during the podcast. Always question if the stuff is good. And here, you know, I'm doing the same shit.
Right. It's because you know, when you're in your own head, you don't know what other people will think about it, especially when you're just talking to a microphone. Like, if you're playing a song, you'd be like, people are going to fuck with this, you know? But.
Sure. Yeah, speaking of songs, I should probably get back to work on this one.
All right, cool, man. Yeah. Well, I just meant to prank call you on some dumb shit, and it turned into like a nice little conversation. I think that worked out well.
Your prank call, you should have had a little bit of. You don't fucking call me and say it's an emergency. You know what I mean?
Well,
that ain't fucking right, man. Come on. Yeah?
But I knew that 15 seconds later you would know that it wasn't.
There you go. All right.
You didn't want me to, you don't want to play with your emotions because you got a kid now.
Yeah, man.
What if it is an emergency? It's like, no, I know what you're doing. What should I have said? I fucking thought of that on the spot. And you know what? To everybody listening to this, next time I do the segment, call people and fuck with them, I'm gonna have something a little bit more elaborate planned, a better type of prank call. Although I thought it was funny that I said that I said I had an emergency, because when people shit themselves, they say it's an emergency. It's like a standard term.
The actual punchline of "you have me clean underwear" because I just shit myself. That was actually pretty funny. That was actually funny.
Well, shit, man, I'll let you get back to your shit. I appreciate you taking this time in your busy schedule.
No problem, man.
All right, bro.
All right. Good luck with the podcast.
All right. Peace. So there you have it. Chris, I call him Chris or Herbs, but a lot of people refer to him as Herbal T. Coming out with a new album. I know what the title is going to be, but I'm not just going to give it out like I did my own album title. But I know what it's going to be, and that shit, I've heard at least 8 songs from it, and that shit is going to be hard as shit, man. That album is going to be the shit. That Herbal T album. But speaking of that, well, not speaking of that, I'm actually going to do something totally unrelated to that. I'm going to go get my homie EOM, who is making beats in the other room, because I'm going to move on to the Wax's True Hollywood Stories segment of the podcast. And for this one, I think it'd be cool if E was involved, because this happened at our last crib where me and him were roommates. And it's a pretty, I don't know, it's like what I said earlier, where I said that interesting shit happens to me, and I actually do live a pretty unique life. I don't think that anybody, I would bet fucking money that the following story did not happen to any of you motherfuckers. All right. So I'm back. I got a friend with me, my boy EOM. You might want to sit a little closer to the mic, I guess. But before we get into this Wax's True Hollywood Stories, I got E from back in where he was making beats, and it turns out he was listening to Lil Wayne's new mixtape. And a subject that we often talk about is how Lil Wayne is like the fucking scapegoat for everybody who likes to hate on mainstream rap. And
Wayne and Drake.
So what do you? I mean, you're saying that he's spitting some hot shit on this new mixtape, right?
He has a lot of. It's like the old, quote unquote, old Wayne. It's like he has a lot of good one-liners. One thing he said that stood out was that song with J. Cole called Green Ranger, over the special delivery beat. Diddy and G-Dep. He said, "I keep a 44 on my waist, Rick Ross jeans." I thought that was funny. Doesn't sound funny when I say it, but
I mean, you gotta. Why don't you try to deliver it more like Lil Wayne would deliver it, man?
Shit.
Well, anyway,
rap like that, dude.
we over here, me and my brother and E, all of us kind of feel that Lil Wayne gets a lot of very much undeserved hatred, because you can say what you want about Lil Wayne songs, especially, people talk shit about some of his quote-unquote mainstream songs, but, that dude says some clever-ass shit. He's a fucking talented-ass dude, and he's a good-ass rapper. So if you want to hate on Lil Wayne and hate me for liking, I'm not saying that Lil Wayne is I listen to his all the time and shit like that, but I feel like he gets so much undeserved hate, and he's a dope-ass rapper. Beatsforwax@gmail.com. Send your disagreements. I'll read them next week. Beatsforwax@gmail.com. And not the number 4. FOR. That being said, hopefully we're a little bit further away from the mic. I'll turn the gain up a little bit. It looks like it's not picking up as well. But I wanted to get into this week's episode of Wax's True Hollywood Stories, and let me preface this one a little bit for us. We have a friend, one of my good friends out here is a comedian named T-Rex, and he's a little older, and he's been in the comedy game for a long time. And most of like the celebrities and shit I've met have been because I know him. Like I've met Dane Cook, I've met Bob Saget, I've met Bill Burr, I met fucking Tommy Davidson, I met all kinds of like Bobby Lee, all like there's way more than that are maybe like a little lesser known and maybe more known. But T-Rex is from Maryland like me. And he came up in the DC comedy scene. So a good friend of his when he was a kid was Dave Chappelle. Like he has pictures of him and Dave Chappelle when they were in high school, like chilling together wearing like cross colors jeans and shit like that, the African medallions and shit. Back in like the early 90s when that was kind of like the shit that was going on in pop culture. But so basically he knows Dave Chappelle. And me and E are sitting at my apartment one night. It's like 2 a.m. We're just drinking and kicking. And it's me, E, our boy T-Rex, and then our friend Mello, who is a girl who is also in the comedy scene. And they get a call from Dave, and Dave is in town. And he's like, "Where y'all at?" They're like, "We're at Wax's house." So 15 minutes later, I guess a cab pulls up to the house, and who walks up the stairs into our little 2-bedroom apartment in West Hollywood but fucking Dave Chappelle.
I had to go get him. I went and got him, and I just remember looking at him, and in my head, I had so much to say, but only thing I said was, "I'm here with him." I opened the door, and like it was so anticlimactic. But he was like, "How's it going, E?" Then I brought him up to the steps, and he walked in, and I think the first thing I remember him saying was, "Why does everyone's house? Why does every dude's house have the pull up, the chin up bar?"
Right.
Like
We have one of those chin up bars in our house. And first of all, when Dave Chappelle got in there, I guess Dave Chappelle's been working out, and he was like wearing one of those like tight shirts, and he was just fucking ripped. And we got a chin up bar where you can do the chin ups, pull ups, but then you can do the hardest ones, right, where you hold your hands out far from each other. The wide grip pull up that like most people can't do one. And he fucking jumped up on that shit and did counting 1, 2, 3, 4, like about that pace, and he got to 17, hopped off that shit and said, "Damn, I could do this shit all day."
The one thing I will say is that he didn't go all the way down. He went like halfway, but still, that is more than I can do wide grip.
So, I mean, that's pretty much the extent of the story. What I was saying to you before is like, that story is not really crazy and funny in itself, but just the fact that like a dude that's like a legend like that came over to our house and did pull-ups on our chin-up bar. The point is that I don't think there's many other people out there listening to this that could say that happened to them.
I'll tell you one thing that they wouldn't let happen if Dave Chappelle did come over. Is they will always have beer and weed and women, and we had none of those three. We
had just ran out of beer. We had one girl,
and we just ran out of weed. That I think earlier that day.
I don't even think he's smoking weed at this point.
You never know.
What else did he do while I was there? He looked kind of paranoid a little bit, kind of like looking around the house like, is this your place?
He talked to the TV. Not talked to the TV, but he talked at the TV before he left, and he said, "FBI, if you're watching me, I'll pay my taxes." And right before that, he rolled out.
He was looking at your record collection for a little bit.
Yeah, I brought him in. He's like, he heard the record that I was playing. He was like, he didn't know what it was, but I schooled him on it, and then he was like, "Wow, you got some good stuff in there." And I wanted to play him some beats, but everything that I wanted to do, I didn't do anything. All the stuff I wanted to say just came out. I was like, "All right, hi, I'm here with him."
Yeah, and keep in mind that people out there listening, like this was pretty late at night, and we had been drinking all night. Like,
yeah, it was like mad high, mad drunk.
I would if I like looking back at it now, I would have somehow at least like you know how you sneak an iPhone picture, like you act like you're texting, but you're taking a picture. You know,
yeah.
Looking back at it now, like I should have at least done that. There's no evidence or anything like that he was there.
Yeah, that's true.
But you know, like with a dude like that, when he gets into your house, like a lot of people would start doing the fan shit and fucking the shit he gets 24 hours a day. Can I take a picture? Like, I love
Rick James, bitch.
Yeah, exactly. But a dude like that, like, and you learn like when you get into these little Hollywood shits, like you learn that like You want people like that to feel like they're in a safe zone. I was surprised that he fucking took a cab by himself to our house.
He rode up by himself. He rode out of the cab singing, actually. He was singing a song. I thought it was with mad people, but he was only by himself.
It's crazy, man.
Maybe there was mad people in the cab, but he's the only one that got out.
I don't think so. I think he was rolling dolo.
Dolo.
Now she rolling dolo. Now she ate a hoe. Now she want a rolo. You know what I want to do next, E? And I'm going to leave you here for this section of the podcast. I told you I had people like write in emails, for like advice and comments and questions and shit like that. So I'm going to read some shit and let's see if we can give some people some advice. That was the Wax is True Hollywood story this week. Dave Chappelle doing 17 wide grip pull-ups at our house. Tell me, I'm not saying that, I'm not bragging, I'm not fucking saying it's the craziest shit ever, but I'm just saying we have interesting lives.
Wait, one more. Wait, how many pull-ups can you do?
Wide grip, it's way different. Way different.
Can you do, how many do you think you can do?
Me?
Yeah.
Shit. 4 or 5 probably.
Shit, I don't know how many I can do. I can probably do more than 5.
Not as many as Dave Chappelle can. Say that.
I don't know how many I can do now. I used to be able to do mad pull-ups.
You want to go into one of these questions? All right. Should I name their names?
You give them their first name.
All right. This is from Tyler. Hey, Wax. There's this girl. She's really sweet and really pretty. The thing is, I don't want to date her, but I want to hook up with her. I think that she's looking for a relationship, but I don't really want or need one of those right now. Am I in the wrong here? If not, how do I tell her that I just want to be friends with benefits with her? So basically, he's got a chick that he knows that's hot, and he wants to have sex with her on a continuing basis without having a relationship.
He wants friends with benefits.
Exactly, and he used that exact quote. I don't think it's possible, man. I don't think that you can do that. I mean, you could do it, but you can't tell her that, really.
You can tell her, but you have to tell her that right off the bat. You can't hang out with her and take her to the movies and dinner and then bring up, I just want to be friends with benefits. She's got to be like, look, girl, I just want to have sex, baby. Let's talk about you and me, you know? You got to start, if you start off that way, then if she doesn't say no right away, then she's probably on board. But if you come out of nowhere, like you're like a super gentleman, blah, 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 holding doors open, and then you just bring up, I just want to rock your body.
So you're saying it'd be a dick move to like court your way in?
Yeah, and then,
court your way in on some gentleman shit, and then after you've hit it a couple times, be like, I don't want to do the gentleman shit anymore. I just want the shit that I want because I'm a fucking gorilla carnivore by nature, fucking man, you know what I'm saying, that just wants to fucking...
Basically.
You know what I mean?
Like you can't... You gotta know exactly what you're getting into. If you're messing with a girl that you know you don't want a relationship with, you gotta hit her with that right off the bat. Otherwise, she's gonna look at you as like a jerk, and you're just gonna be wasting your time and your money, and wasting her time.
You heard it here first. All right, let's go to the next one of these. That's a really long. All right, I'll just do this one real quick. Wax, this is from JZG. How did you start working with Ray William Johnson? Why don't you have Stalking Your Mom on your YouTube channel like a single? And is there a live version of Get It In? Studio version of Get It In. Yes, there is a studio version of Get It In, and it will be on my album. Stalking Your Mom it's on iTunes as a single. And I started working with Ray William Johnson because he actually shouted me out in one of his videos. And then I guess I thanked him, and then I thanked him for doing that. We kind of got in contact via email and Twitter and stuff like that. And then when he moved to LA, we actually started hanging out with him. I haven't hung out with him in a while, but we go out and drink together and shit. I've seen Ray William Johnson fucked up. Super fucked up.
The last time I saw Ray William Johnson, I was real fucked up at his party.
Yeah, that shit was crazy.
That
Avalon.
number 1 party. Yeah.
That shit was crazy.
Open bar? That whole limo situation is hilarious.
Yeah, when we got it was dope because he got me and Dom and you and everybody were with a limo to the party.
But we had to find our own way back.
Yeah, but once we had to roll back.
Everybody was fucked up, so it's like...
I don't remember. We all got cabs or something? And that's not a diss to Raymond Johnson. That's the homie, by the way. That's,
he
that's
definitely
my
hooked
fucking,
it up.
That's my fucking boy right
He hooked it up. It was just unexpected, and we're all fucked up.
All right. Sup, Wax? This is from Thado? Sup, Wax? I'm 15 years old and I'm a rapper. I've been rapping for about 9 months now with the crew and everything. We've dropped a few tracks here and there, and I just wanted to ask you for some advice on some things. What's the easiest way to record? We can't afford studios anymore. What's the best way to get yourselves out there? And what are the best sites to upload your music onto? I can tell you this, and I think E will agree with me. And if not, tell me why you disagree. But I think in this day and age, the easiest way to record is to somehow get your own recording set up. Like, I know by the fact that you sent me this email, you have access to a computer.
True.
And I know that there's mad recording programs out there that you can get for free.
Audacity, Reaper being two of them.
I mean, you can probably get Reason for free. You can probably get Ableton for free.
But we don't suggest getting those for free because they're not free. You know
Right,
what I mean?
right. And you can scrounge up some money. You can if you get a Shure SM58 microphone, you can use that for live performances. And despite what some people will tell you, you can use that for recording, and it sounds fucking awesome. Bono from U2 uses a Shure SM58 microphone in the studio to record U2 albums, and it sounds fucking great. And that shit is like $70. So if you get that with a cable, what do you think like a decent home studio would cost you?
If you got $300, you can get some decent headphones, a decent mic, the cables, and then like it's not called M Audio, but it's like an external sound card.
Right, like an M box.
Yeah, like you can get all those things where you can plug in all sorts of shit into it, and the minimum you can get is like 2 inputs and outputs.
Yeah.
So it's like,
and if you want to make your vocals sound good, there's a couple tricks you can do in mixing them that you can definitely learn. Just 3 things: reverb, EQ, and compression. If you can learn a couple tricks that you can probably just fucking Google, you know what I'm saying?
Or YouTube.
And YouTube. You see some fucking 9-year-old kid being like, EQ is like this, compression is like this.
Or even like delay. Delay is something I've recently been using that's making everything kind of wider.
Yeah.
But like, on the other hand though, just thinking about recording your own vocals, think about Madlib and MF Doom and just people like that they kind of just, whatever they got, they just use it. And you just if you know someone that can mix a little bit or engineer, that'll help a lot. But sometimes that rawness ain't a bad thing.
Not to mention, this guy says in here he's been rapping for 9 months.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think at this point in your rap career, if you've been rapping for 9 months, recording is really more of a practice thing. Like, you really got to get your hours in. You can't expect to like really make shit happen. If you've been rapping for 9 months, like if you're recording something, it's to practice for when you're recording in the future, when it's going to matter a little bit more. And that's not a diss or whatever, but that I was saying that because your next question, best way to get yourselves out there. I mean, unless you're fucking the reincarnation of Biggie, like if you've only been rapping for 9 months, maybe you don't want to get yourself out there just yet. Maybe you want to perfect yourself a little bit before you even want to get out there, Because
you got to think about like 4 years from now, if you for some reason your Facebook account that's connected to your music is your real name, you don't want to get a job and motherfuckers like Facebook you and all that, and all of a sudden they just see like, or you just don't want old whack ass raps that you just start. Like when I made beats, I put all my first beats online, and all those things you can find right now if you knew my producer name when I first started. And I wish nobody would find those.
Exactly. The shit that I did when I was younger and just starting, I wouldn't want nobody to find.
Yeah.
I thought it was the shit at the time.
At the
time, I thought it was the shit.
It's like
I was giving my tapes out to the bands I would see and the rappers I would see. I would give them my little fucking tapes and CDs and shit.
Like putting like, it's just what you think is tight right now. Like when you're 2 years later, you may just go way beyond that, and you'll just be like, damn. Like I used to. It's also cool to look at though. It's also cool to have archive. It's like a double-edged sword.
And the best way to get yourself out there, I mean, it's all the standard shit: Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, all the standard social media.
If you have any connections with blogs, or if your friends who aren't necessarily musicians but they love music, if they started their own blogs, they can. If you like put out a song, 3 people, they can all promote that song and do write-ups on it, and then you can use those blogs to send those write-ups to other blogs like DJ Booth or Two Dope Boys and yada yada yada. It's like having connections with those blogs isn't the most important thing, but if you do have that, then definitely utilize it.
But you don't want to make those connections right now, because if you're only been rapping for 9 months, and I don't know, like I said, you could be the fucking most amazing rapper in the world, but if you're still in your beginning stages, you don't want to put your stuff out there yet. You want to perfect it so when you get it out there, it can be the best quality possible. True. But I think we handled that one pretty good. E, what would you say?
Handled.
I think we handled that one pretty good. Let's try okay. What up, Wax? This is from Evan. What up, Wax? Big fan from South Florida. I got some issues I think you'd be able to help me out with. I smoke weed, and my mom was cool with it for a while. Yeah, I'll admit it. It's gotten a little out of hand, but shit, it's not like I'm a crackhead or anything. Well, she's acting like I'm some kid who's fucking up his life and all that kind of bullshit. Anything I can do to get her off my back? She's driving me crazy, and it's tough to get my schoolwork done and my college applications and shit like that because she won't stop nagging me. Thanks for the help, Big Wax. P.S. Where can I get some Herbal Tea music? For some reason, I can't find his shit anywhere. That question, the P.S. question, is because he doesn't have that much shit out. Like, he doesn't...
He will, though.
He will have an album. Yeah, as we said earlier in the podcast, he's got a fucking crazy-ass album coming out in a couple months. But as for your mom getting on your back about smoking weed, I'm going to tell you this. When you have a kid, and I'm not saying this from first-hand experience, but I know a lot of people who have kids, your attitude changes. Like, it's like... Yeah, we all know that smoking weed's not a big deal, but that doesn't mean you want your kid to smoke weed. You know what I'm saying? She might be like, "Damn, like, I'm a little worried that this is getting out of hand." Yeah, she does. I'm sure she doesn't think you're a quote unquote crackhead like you said either. But when you're a mother, of course you're gonna be a little bit concerned. Like if you finish that, you said you're filling out college applications. If you finish college and get a job, start making money, living for yourself, and then you're like, "Yo, mom, by the way, I smoke weed." She'd be like, well, I can't really hate on that because he's already proven that he can do his thing and smoke weed. But right now, you're in a point in your life where you might not know it or not, but it could become critical. Could be a critical point. That's
something I recently read online. I mean, it's like I can't cite the source because I don't remember it. But I know I saw it on Twitter. I saw it on Reddit once, and I saw it on this site called Boxed In. And basically they said marijuana doesn't affect anyone negatively, but when it does, it doesn't affect everyone negatively. But there are certain cases where it does, and the time that it does affect people negatively is when they're under 18 and they're smoking weed. Like, it's like it just has us. You're still growing certain cells. Like, there's still new things growing, and marijuana kind of stunts that. And it's basically been shown in 16 and 17-year-olds. So
I think I remember when I was in high school, and now all the time, any drug, but let's talk about weed since that we're talking about. And of course you've heard the term burnout. Burnt, like that dude's burnt. Yeah. Like when you're in high school, like there's almost everybody smokes weed, really, but a lot of people smoke weed, but then some people become burnt, and some people fucking don't. Some people are just like, they're like, huh? What? And it just affects them differently, and other people are still kind of sharp. I mean, my mom listens to this shit, but You know, I smoked tons of weed in high school, and I still like did good on all my shit. You know, if I maybe if I hadn't, I would have got straight A's. You know, I don't know.
That's true. You never know.
Fuck do I know?
I know that when basically for your mom, just handling that whole thing with your mom, just your mom did so much for you. Just suck that shit up and just say, fine, I won't smoke weed for whatever. Just like until you get to college, just do whatever you got to do to make your mom happy. Because if your mom's happy, everyone's happy, and you'll be a whole lot more happier if your mom's happy. Because when your mom's unhappy, she's most likely gonna just somehow take it out on you. Not negatively. It's not always the case, but you're gonna be her little boy, and every day she's gonna just make sure that you're okay and not, you know, being anything she's seen on TV where somebody's just like passed out and their brains on drugs and they're smashing their eggs with pans and everything. Whatever that one commercial was, I can't remember.
This is your brain on drugs. All right, this is actually a pretty good. This is what we were just talking about. It's kind of a good segue into this email. This is from Imran Qureshi, and no offense, Imran, or however you pronounce your name, but I
don't go bankrupt.
By the way he types in his grammar, I'm guessing English is his second language. But yo, Wax, I'm in my first year of high school. It sucks so badly. I am pressurized every day by teachers and my parents to work hard and do well in exams. And to be honest, I'm not the brightest of kids when it comes to maths. I also really hate my high school environment. Actually, dude, this guy, I'm a fucking idiot. He could totally be fucking whatever. I just said that because he said maths. But maybe he's talking about, you know, maths, like calculus, algebra, different types of maths. I'm a fucking idiot.
Pythagorean theorems and shit.
I also really hate my high school environment, which is a squared plus b squared plus c squared equals c squared. I mean, so I was wondering for you, how much did school exams matter, and are they really important when it comes to getting jobs? That's the question. The question is, this dude's just started high school, and by the way, high school can be tough.
Can be tough.
Everybody's an asshole, but his main question is, how much did school exams matter, and are they really important to getting a job? I would say
no.
But I mean, you know, if you fail them all and then don't even make it out of high school, I guess that's important. But like every individual one is not as important as they make it seem.
Yeah, it's like if you, how do I go about? It's like, no, those aren't important to getting jobs. Yes, they are probable benchmarks to whether or not you will get the job that you apply for. Like if you can't. Like those tests are kind of like the bare minimum. Like when I was in school, the SOL tests or the standardized tests of learning and the other tests, it's just like that's the bare minimum you need to know to just get out of high school. So it's like on one hand, you may not know how to answer the questions that are like on the paper, but if someone were to present them those sort of questions in a real life situation, you may be able to handle it. So it's like, no, they may not. They don't determine if you can get a job. But on the other hand, you know, doing your best on those tests will definitely do more good than harm in the future for you.
Let me tell you what the way employers look at high school. It's also the same way they look at college. You go into a job interview and they say, "Well, how long do you be planning to do this job?" And you tell them some bullshit like, "Oh, I want to do it forever." What they say if you didn't finish high school, they don't care about the fact of what you learned in high school, and usually they don't even care about the fact of what you learn in college. What finishing high school and finishing college does is shows that you can finish some shit.
Yep.
Shows that you're not the kind of person that quits. You know, and there's the exceptions, because some people quit high school because they're already on to the next shit. Like the hustlers type people that quit high school, it's because they're already on to the next shit. They already know what job they're gonna do. They already know, and those people will become successful without education. But if you're like the guy that's like, you know, you're talking about getting jobs, like they look at it like, yo, if you can't finish high school, you know what I mean?
How are you gonna finish 4 years working at our company if you can't do 4 years at high school?
It's more of a personality thing. It's like, are you a quitter? You know?
Yeah.
Let's do like one or two more of these joints. Let me see. I don't want this shit to be too long, you know? Hold up. Let's do like one. Let's do like a relationship one.
Wax, you're my only hope. What's that one?
Where is that?
Did you already read that? The one above in the
Where are you
over
seeing
over to your right.
Here?
Nah, yeah, that one.
You're my only hope.
Oh, copyright.
Oh, okay. This is an interesting one. I saw this actually. This is from Pharrell. Sup, dude? Been a fan for a while, coming at you from Austin, Texas. As you know, Watsky recently released his mixtape to Bandcamp. He gave you the option to name your price, despite the fact that he didn't own any rights to the instrumentals. I myself am a rapper, and I capitalize need to know. Is that legal? Could Watsky get sued? Does name your price supersede copyright infringement? If it doesn't, I would like to release my mixtape to Bandcamp with the name your own price option. I enjoy keeping up with you, Wax. Sounds corny, but I'm probably in the top 5% of your fans. I appreciate that, man. I've seen you live. I bought 2 shirts at the show. You're the fucking man. I really appreciate that, man. That's the shit. And I can tell you right off the bat that yes, you can get sued for name your price. Nowadays, you don't even. This is all illegal shit
for putting a copywritten picture on your Facebook.
This is all new. Like the music industry is constantly going through changes, but yes, like Watsky's the homie, but yes, he could get sued for that because. I mean, remember the fucking Mac Miller got sued by Lord Finesse,
yeah.
and he didn't sell that song at all. He didn't even say name your price. But what they're saying is like these mixtapes
lead to album sales,
yep.
lead to concert ticket sales. It like you can if anyone can prove that you infringe on their copyright law, if they can prove that you infringe on their rights.
You can be sued.
You can be sued.
Forget the name your price thing. You can be sued just just putting the mixtape out for free. You can be sued.
The only thing is like you don't see it often because everyone the people who are at labels and shit doing that shit, they're so behind that by the time they even catch up to start suing mad people will be on to some sort of other thing, downloading things like via Thoughts or something.
Even more so than that. You have to get to a high level, yeah. like you have to be Mac Miller. That's why he's getting sued. Like you know what I'm saying. But the thing is that people that are going to sue you, it costs $5. I don't give a shit. It's $500 standard price for an entertainment lawyer is $500 an hour. So to even start a lawsuit against somebody, you have to think that they really have money that you could make. You know. So I don't know. Pharrell, I don't know which level you're at, but like. If you're thinking you're gonna make $1 million off this shit, you should be careful. And if you're thinking you're gonna make a couple $100, dude, I mean, if you like whoever's instrumental you're using, they're not gonna come sue you for a couple $100 on Bandcamp. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's
another thing is using the phrase for promotional use only doesn't save you from that. As per maybe it was Mac Miller. I'm not sure who it was, but someone recently used that. And got sued as well. Even though it was for free, it's just for promotional use only. They still got sued.
All right, let's do this one. This is from I'm not gonna say this guy's name. Wax, I have given you complete control over my 2-year relationship with my girlfriend. This is gonna be the last. This will be the last one. Wax, I have given you complete control over my 2-year relationship with my girlfriend. She wants to be together forever. She's a very beautiful, mature woman with nice assets. I guess that's supposed to mean titties and ass.
And asses.
I mean, unless she's got a great portfolio full of stocks. But she has her life planned out completely, almost to the day. The problem is, I'm 17 goddamn years old.
Damn.
I do not have a plan in life other than to see where the hell life takes me. I want to travel and write. I love this girl to death, but I don't want to hold her back from having a family and following the hierarchy of needs. I also do not want her to hold me back from following my dreams. I just moved to a new city for school where she went to a different one. That part doesn't really bother me because I just fucks with music instead of her. That's an important sentence right there. We have never really had a fight and seem to be pretty goddamn good for each other, which is pretty cool. However, I have no clue where time will take me, or her for that matter. This is why I'm seeking your advice. I've been listening to your and your brother's music and people affiliated with you, DFD, Breezy, EOM, etc., for at least 2.5 years. I bump your compositions while I get fillings at the dentist. That's awesome. Also, when I got my tumor removed, Liquid Courage was jamming even though I was asleep. Any feedback would be dope. Yo, that's cool that we appreciate your fanhood. You know, I happen to have E here with me today. You know, bumping Liquid Courage while you get your tumor removed. I mean, you know,
That's crazy.
to people like us, like
It's a slaughterhouse.
that's the kind of shit we live for, man. You know, yeah, it's a slaughterhouse. But as far as the girl, I was in a very similar situation as you, man. When I was your same age, and I had a girl, and I loved her very much, and it actually ended up ending for a different reason rather than I just wanted it to end, because at that time I didn't really want it to end at all. But you know, sometimes hindsight is 20/20, and the best thing that could have happened to me is that relationship to end. And you know, the pain and shit that you feel that you have to endure when something like that ends because you love the girl and shit is completely worth it. You know, like eventually all that, it sounds lame and cliche, but two things: only time will heal, and what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. You know, that you'll come out of that relationship way stronger. I mean, it sounds to me like you already have your mind made up, dude. Because like
That's what I was about to say.
if it's the one, it's the one. If you're thinking about it, I mean, you are 17. Maybe you guys both go off and do your thing, fuck a bunch of people, and travel the world. Then you come back later when you both have STDs and fucking, you know, you both got the same STD. You might as well get together. But that, you know, that's not what I meant. But you know,
That's gonna be solid.
what's meant to be will be. And in my opinion, man, you got your decision made up. You said you'd rather fuck with music than her. I mean, to a musician who fucking has spent years and years trying to achieve his dream of making a living making music and finally actually achieve that dream, I mean, I think you got your mind made up, dude.
There's one thing I want to say though, is that you're 17. Just long as you realize that there's one thing I learned recently about just age differences. Is when you're 17, I feel like you actually do know everything and you know nothing at the same time. So really, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Yeah, I agree.
It's like what you say. It's like you do like the things you want to do in life, like be a writer and travel. Is like that's what you really want to do. But there's other things where you just really don't know shit about it because you don't know yourself yet. You're still like blossoming into like who you want to be. So it's like I say just either you become a monk or a musical monk and you just don't date anyone and you just not drown, but you just bury yourself in your music for a long time and then like you emerge like out of the cave or something, or you just have sex with mad women and continue to travel and do your music and just realize like, wow, either way, no matter which route I took, I would have figured out the same thing, is that the older you get, the more you don't know shit, and the more the older you get is when you find out what you really want to do.
I feel like it's
redefined itself.
I guess it's different for everybody, but I feel like I didn't really know myself till I was about 22. I feel like it's around 22 when I understood, oh yeah, this is who I am. In high school, you don't fucking know yourself.
Yeah, in high school,
because everything is still like what's cool, you know.
Yeah.
Then you realize that shit doesn't mean anything, and then you start to really figure out who the fuck you are.
I feel like I'm starting to know myself right now. Like
I'm in a constant learning phase. I've learned more about myself in the last year than I have in the last 5 years. It's crazy. But I don't want this thing to get too lengthy. I think this podcast is already getting kind of long. But I want to thank everybody who sent emails, and I really want to thank everybody who sent beats, man. I have so many fucking beats in my inbox that it's hard for me to get through listening to them all, but I'm going to listen to them all. I've listened to a lot. A lot of them are really fucking good. And I'd like to thank my guests, EOM, coming on telling the true Hollywood story, answering some questions, you know. I fucking appreciate that, man. But with that being said, beats for Wax, my man Herbal T with the call somebody and fuck with them segment. Send me questions, send me advice, send me feedback. I know I did the podcast a little different this weekend. I had a couple guests. Let me know what y'all think. Any suggestions are more than welcome, because I'm doing this shit just to try to entertain you guys. And any suggestions are more than welcome. So with that said, be safe out there.